Oh,
Okay, dun 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 dun.
We
Bowl of
streaming y'all,
confetti.
but not on
Okay.
Facebook yet, so
Oh, okay.
I don't know why.
I hope you had Ball of Confusion queued up today.
they just don't know how to behave. You don't see all this normally.
No, I don't see it. Not
You
at all.
could. We fight like this all the
We
time,
need to
but we
we need to
love
do a
each other.
behind the scenes.
I,
It's okay.
Don't tell on us,
You're
Miss
having
Green.
fun. You're having fun, right? At the same time. Us mean, angry, bitter, toxic
Didn't I say
people.
we was
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, we're streaming?
Yeah, we are. Not just not on
uh
Facebook yet. Maybe. I don't know.
well, it's definitely on YouTube, but not on Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, I don't care what they call us.
I'm
I
just
know who
saying.
I know who I am.
We on the tube.
Oh.
We know
let
who
me
we
see.
is. Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Come on, turn this stuff off. There we go. Yeah, I don't see us on Facebook yet.
Oh, they done banned us from the book.
Hmm.
They done banned us from the book.
Ooh, they
All right,
can't stop.
everybody, we are live.
There we go.
They can't stop us.
We're live.
Everybody, thank you all for your patience. I am Sherman.
Oh, they
I
done
am joined by my co-hosts, Donna, Derek, Levon, and Tanya. Tonight, we are going to be having a robust discussion with Euniesha Davis, who is running for County Council District 4. Guess I'm going to be tossing it over to you, Levon. Are you taking over?
Sure, I can. Are we introducing our cohort, our
He did.
colleagues? We have Tanya Wingfield, Donna Goodman, Derek Holmesley, Sherman Hardy, and me, LaVon Reedy Thomas. What's up, y'all? It is
Hey.
hot and happening in Prince George's County.
Busy.
Election day is around the corner in
Corner.
another month or in a week. People will start going to the polls, casting their early ballots, all the things. And so here we are, Citizens for Accountability and Governance, bringing you all things Prince George's County government. So tonight we have with us our special guest, Ms. Euniesha Davis, who is a candidate for the Council District 4 seat. And so, just for the record, we did invite one of her opponents, but she was not available. So, we will try to bring her on at another time. And we're going to get as many people on as we can between now and June 23rd. So, we may have some special edition of CAG Chat just to interview some folks and give them a little bit of time with us. And so, Euniesha, welcome to CAG Chat.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you
We're
all
gonna
for
keep
having me. I
this
appreciate it.
nice and simple. We'll just start
You
out
sure?
with some general questions and tell us who you are and why you are running for this seat.
Okay. I just asked you, are you sure you're going to keep it simple? I don't know. I watched you guys. So,
We'll
I
start out
prepared the
simple.
best I could today. All good. Hi, everyone. Again, thank you for having me. It's Wednesday. I am Euniesha Davis, and I am a candidate for County Council District 4. Very excited about it. I am a mother to a 14-year-old son who I adore. I'm originally from Chester, Pennsylvania, but I have called Maryland my home for more than 20 years. I came to Maryland for graduate school, University of Baltimore, lived there for a couple years, and then I decided to make Prince George's County my home. My first stop was in Laurel. I lived there for a couple years. And then I'm a city girl. And so I was able to purchase my first home in Prince George's County in District Heights. But I wanted to be close to the city because when I was a city girl, I didn't have a son at the time, right? And then I was able to then after some time there, I was able to then move to Bowie. So I am a Bowie resident. I love it here. And I really want to see
this district grow. I grow in a way that is amenable to our residents here. I have over 15 years of government, nonprofit, for-profit experience. For I worked at United Way for almost 7 years, developing community programming that I took from a local level that then went on to become national. Other United Ways were able to utilize the program, and it was invested by businesses as well. But with that program, which I'm very proud of, I work with Prince George's County. And so it was a children's program. I developed for United Way National Capital Area. I've developed their child wellness initiative. And I brought the initiative to Prince George's County. I'm going to give a shout out to Ms. Brenda Neal, who entrusted me with her students in after school programming. And so I found that students were sitting there waiting for their parents. And it was like, well, what are they doing? And so I brought to them a health and wellness program, and it was free. And it was all after school programs. So again, I was very proud of that. Served over 50,000 residents in the DMV area. And one thing that I will never forget, a parent saying to me, "Thank you for United Way finally coming to us." Because I understood then that community had to go to the people, not sorry, community, but the business and government needs to go to the people where they are to meet them in that space, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I was able to then work for the Links Incorporated and then government for 6.5 years. I served as your director of the Office of Community Relations, where I oversaw the redesign of 311. Right? I did not develop 311, but I oversaw the redesign of 311 to make sure that it worked for people. I always say it was a different mission and vision at the time, and I'm very grateful to Mr. Baker for allowing it to be set up. But it just really needed to work for people. So when I got or in December of 2018, 5 to 6 minutes to answer a call. By March of 2019, 30 seconds. Right. And so I understood that, well, we have to fix the internal controls first. We did that. And now Prince George's County Call Center is an award-winning program. It's an award-winning call center that's been replicated across the country, to include the community service model of 311 on the go that has been replicated by other 311 call centers. And I was able to also, of course, do all community relations for the county. So I did that for 6.5 years until June. And then now I am at a large nonprofit where I work with seniors and ensuring that they are able to be connected to a training program and then connected to permanent employment. And so that has been very, very rewarding. And now I want to come back to government and offer my talent on a different side. One thing that it's great to have these ideas, like many candidates. I want to do this, I want to do that, but I can stand on my record and I can tell you what I did do for our residents, and I believe that I served our residents well by providing new programming to the county, from seniors to youth that still stands today in many cases. And so I just want to be able to bring that side and bring accountability back, transparency back, and good governance back, right? I left in June 2025. And I tell the story of 311 because after a while, I didn't want to tell so much of the story of that's how it used to be. My operators were answering calls, even got down to 7 to 15 seconds. I said, catch them on a good day. But what I have noticed since my departure, 311 has been shut down several times. And I will tell you, right, that didn't happen. I will tell you when COVID hit, we were ready to go that Monday. I will never forget. It was March 16th. Hope I do get that day right. I won't forget where I was, right? My call center never went down. We were ready to go because I planned. I made sure the operators were able to take their equipment home prior to not knowing COVID was coming. My call center never went down. And it certainly never went down in a snowstorm.
All
So
right.
that is where look,
They didn't go to a hotel.
Yeah,
You
well,
ain't
yeah,
have to
yeah,
leave.
Tanya didn't do that. I was at the EOC during this, during storms. But again, I love this county. It is my home. This is where my son lives. I want him to thrive for years to come, but I want that for all others as well, right? And I know that we deserve better than
Mm-hmm.
what we're getting now.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Oh,
in there.
yes.
So we know that 311
Mhm,
is the help center
mhm.
of Prince George's County government, and they take
Yeah,
calls from for anything and everything.
yeah.
So how would you take your experience with all of these things, and how does it tie to the work of the council? What are
Mhm,
your
mhm.
insight or your priorities about the work of the council based on all of your experience? Tie that together
Yeah.
for people.
Yeah, yeah. So I will say one thing, Levon, with 311, they I stopped allowing them to take calls for anything and everything. Some of
Mm-hmm.
those calls that were coming in really fell on agency. It's the agency responsibility. At that time we had the red and gold ball. The
Mm-hmm.
operators didn't need to take calls for intake, right? They could be on the phone for 20 minutes, but and then the queue was building up. So I stopped certain aspects for anything and everything, but really making sure that the call center served its true purpose of bringing in those concerns, right? Those true concerns of quality of life improvement areas,
Mm-hmm.
going from 200 service 200 service requests down to 50, right? No one really wanted to wants to know who's doing the service. They just want to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that it's done. So
Right.
when you call into a system, or um, you're doing it online. That's another thing that we did bring,
Mm-hmm.
that you now have 24-hour access to government. Before it was a call center Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. But with the new Salesforce system that we ensured that was delivered even during COVID, we built it. You're now able to take pictures, and you have that access to government. And I think what happens with the county council, as I had to go through, I had to show my plans to them, right? You have to make the case that the money that you spend, especially even on building the system, the county council, I mean, they had to approve those funds, make sure that they went to the appropriate areas. That
Mm-hmm.
system, it wasn't a dollar, to buy, but it's a system now that works very well. But I had to prove that investment, what the
Mm-hmm.
return on investment will look like. And that is, I believe, one of the roles and responsibilities of the county council, is to ensure that there is good fiscal management of
Mm-hmm.
all the dollars, right, that are coming in, going out of government, and being used for various services, looking at programs that work and programs that don't work. But you do it with a level of compassion and discipline. And at the same time, you're looking at programming when it works well. How many is it serving, right? Is it audited correctly? But then when you look at a program, and if it's not working, how do we retool? Right?
Mm-hmm.
How do we step down and we decrease the use of it? And I have that experience, from the nonprofit management side of it. I funded many organizations, but I also made sure they were accountable in their spending. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that is it's not just that fiscal oversight, but it's that programmatic oversight that
Mm-hmm.
truly needs to happen. And it's not that you fund someone and you look away and you walk away,
Right.
but you go, you ask the questions, you're getting their financial reports. And I believe that for the county council person, or just all members, that is something they need to do continuously, to look at the programs that are coming in and out or being offered by government.
hmm So what other
Mhm,
priorities? We've heard fiscal
mhm,
responsibility. We know that the charter clearly states what the responsibilities are for the council.
mhm,
So beyond, so when you start talking about legislative policy, what would be something that you are eager to address
mhm,
as a
mhm.
council member?
Fraud, waste, abuse
Mm-hmm.
of government funding.
All right.
And I know that one thing, and again, I don't proclaim to know everything, right? And that is why, you work with your council members, you work with the county executive, you work with stakeholders. For, most of my career has been community building. It has been listening to external stakeholders also to give that input. And one thing that I would do, it may not make me very popular, but the mailers that are coming to your homes, that's waste, right?
Mhm.
On the taxpayer's dime. And from county council members, and it's disguised as programming, right? It's disguised as a listening session. And so one thing that I would do is to, if anyone is running on the county council, when they declare that they're no longer able to send out mailers for programming. Again, these it's thousands of dollars that are being used. Most of this stuff is going in the trash,
Yep.
right? And so what happens now is that money could have been used for senior programs, youth programming, development, right? We are in a deficit. And people have to really recognize that. Like, the budget that say, okay, we close the deficit is zero, we close the gap. Well, you have to have a balanced budget every year,
Right. And you need
right?
a
No
balanced
matter
budget
what.
with, but you need a balanced budget with projected
Yes.
revenue. And we don't have any
Mhm.
projected revenue.
Then what, right? And so, one thing, you asked me about other priorities, definitely education. It is a priority, ensuring that our resources are up to par and that they are properly allocated in the classroom, for safety for our teachers to be able to thrive in the classroom and be able to teach, right? And have a professional environment. I always say, my son, he has been afforded an opportunity to go to private and public, right? He learns a little differently, and when we realize that, and I tell the story because I have his permission, because he understands how to advocate for himself. He understands when he goes to school the first day, he needs to tell his teachers, I need to sit in the front of the class, right? These are the things that I need. Some parents, and there are many children who cannot do that. They don't know how to do that, and their parents don't know how to do that, right? And so what happens is, because I've seen both sides. When it's cold outside, our classroom shouldn't be cold. When it's hot outside, our classroom shouldn't be hot. So we need to have modernized facilities in order for us to be able to educate our children properly and for them to be able to compete at the local level, the regional, the national level. And we also need to make sure that we are retaining and attracting good teachers. So that affordability issue pops up all the time. Someone teaching here shouldn't have to live 50 miles outside,
Mhm.
right? And so, many of our teachers also going back to research, they spend close to $1,000 out of their pocket in many cases to ensure that our students have pencil, pens, and all of that. Every year, even from my son's elementary school at Woodmore, I make sure the teachers have classroom resources. He doesn't even go there anymore. I make
Mhm.
sure, and when he leaves Benjamin Tasker, I'm going to make sure they also have it because I understand what that need is. Small, but it makes a big difference,
Mhm.
right? For our teachers. And the other thing that Lavonia asked me earlier, is Chase, my son, is he going to college? I hope, but I don't know, right? But I want him to have those options. If he wants to go into a trade, he should have that option. And so
Mhm.
I really believe that we should really think about putting that, exposing our children to the trades earlier to provide them with a plethora of options and not just one way because
Mhm.
everyone doesn't want to go to college,
Mhm.
right? My brother, he didn't go to college right after school. My mom, the joke in the house is, at the time they would put our names in the newspaper, for graduation. My mom had her friend look at the graduation at the list to see if my brother made it, right? And he did, right? He did. So he didn't go to college his first after high school his first year. But he did go after because he understood, I think I need to go. My brother is one of the top guidance counselors in the state of Delaware. But
Mhm.
again, having those options and that exposure, just to lived experience, work experience, I really want to make sure that our kids get that a lot earlier.
Mhm.
Not my last thing. I think there are several different priorities. You can't focus on everything, right? You have to do something that makes sense for your district, but also makes sense for all Prince Georgians. Seniors are a big a big priority as well. My mom just turned 70. My grandmother's 93. She still lives on her own, right? But my mom still is her caregiver. So making sure that resources are provided for our caregivers. We're living a lot longer. Looking at transportation for our seniors to and from doctors, affordable transportation. I said my mom takes care of her 93-year-old mother, my grandmother, but she also takes care of my stepfather, who's had some health challenges. My mom can't be at both doctor visits at the same time. So making sure that we have reliable transportation and looking at preventative health care or systems for our seniors that go into the communities, like mobile health clinics. Because sometimes that is the difference between independence and crisis. Right. So bringing that into our communities, and also it helps to reduce the doctor visits when you catch it early, right? But bring that service to our seniors. And again, as a director, I did that. With the COVID-19 pandemic, I didn't sit around, right? I never left work. So while other people went home, my office didn't. And so what I did when the vaccinations were available, I understood that everyone couldn't get to the sports and learning complex. They couldn't get there, right? So I took a van that was sitting in the lot of the health department. Now, I didn't take it, guys. I asked, right? I said, but it's sitting there. We're going to now take that, outfit it, put our nurses on there. We're going to take that to community. I work with the community advocates because at that time people really didn't trust as well. But they saw their community advocates and they understood, okay, well, maybe I should consider. So they were able to get their first and second shot. And I took that mobile unit all throughout the county to ensure that our seniors, our most vulnerable population, had access, right? And that's all this is as well, access. You can have good programming, but when it is not accessible, it's of no benefit to you,
Right.
right? And of course, economic development. Prince George's County should be a first choice place to live, shop, and play. I love going out to DC, Crofton. I'm in Bowie. I'm only like 10, 15 minutes away, right? Crofton, Annapolis. I get that, right? But I shouldn't have to do that every day. I
Mhm.
shouldn't have to do that. You have to do that every day to have appropriate choices
Mhm.
for meals, for entertainment. And so looking to make sure that District 4 is a true placemaking area for businesses to want to come here and stay, right? And you have the
So,
small businesses, right? So
mhm.
I'll stop there, but
Okay.
those are
So,
things that I.
thank you for giving us such a well-rounded look at how you see your role as a council member. One
Mhm.
of the things that we are highly critical of the council members is that they seem to have forgotten that we have agencies that are supposed to deliver services. And
That's
it's
right.
okay for a council member to host something in their
Mhm.
district, but
Yes.
we should be using our agencies to
Mhm.
deliver those services and to take the lead on those things before we
Mhm.
go out and hire nonprofit organizations that may or may not even be qualified to do the job.
Mhm.
Right.
So I'm going to piggyback on this and then we'll open the floor for everybody to ask you something. You mentioned economic development as the last part.
Mhm.
Bowie Town Center. Can you talk to us about what you know to be the problem at Bowie Town Center? Do you think that there's anything that's happening with it now, or do you have an idea about how you would go about? And of course, we know that it is an existing business, because I want to be very clear with people. It is an existing business. So therefore, the council member is able to talk to the owners or the leased space people in Bowie Town Center. But
Mhm.
should Bowie Town Center, which I know parts of it is um, under permitting or perspectives for redevelopment. So once it goes into that space, a council member cannot have conversations. So she's not a council member yet.
Mhm.
What would she like to see once she becomes a council member? I'm not saying she's going to go in and tell Bowie Town Center what she wants to
Mhm.
happen. So let's be very clear that we know the rules and the boundaries. So in an ideal world, Miss Davis, what would you
Mhm.
like to see at Bowie Town Center?
Mhm. Well, I do frequent Bowie Town Center, right? For a couple of things, but there are many places now that are sitting empty, which is, it doesn't attract shopping, right? Or a great shopping experience. So, what I would like to see, I would like to see it to, an entertainment venue there. I would also like to see maybe a youth entertainment space as well. And also good eateries, but there doesn't have to be all five-star dining. I think there's be options for every price point there, and not just the fast food. While that is fine at times, but people sometimes just want to sit down, right, with your family and just have a different kind of experience. I would like to see it to be one thing that we can do, we have to do better, is with the treatment of our roads. There,
Mm.
potholes, and again, it all leads to or adds to the experience if people want to come. So ensuring that when you go there, you don't have these large potholes that your tires are falling in, or you have sidewalk there that you're tripping.
Yeah,
So
it's a little rough
and
over there right
it's a little
now.
rough. It really is. And again, I would like to see, honestly, now times have changed. It is about convenience. People want to live as well, like in close proximity to a good shopping center. So
Mhm.
maybe even having homes, more homes that are around, they're affordable. But I'm able to now walk out my house and then I can go to this particular store. For example, in Montgomery County, many people live in that downtown area. They walk out their home and in 7 minutes they can hit 3 or 4 stores and get their
Right.
errands done. Three or
Hmm.
four, right? And we most times have to walk. And so, I mean, so we have to drive. So I would like it to be a more walkable, more connected area to the homes that are already there, and just possibly, maybe a new redesign. I think the entire place can be reimagined. And I think the last thing is be more inviting to small business as well. Many times our small business can't afford the brick and mortar, but if they're able to come together under one roof, they're able to share collectively, and and sell their products. So looking for an experience when you go there. So when you
Hmm.
go to like a mall or something like that, sometimes you don't want the same thing all the time. You want five or six experience. So when I go there today, I'm going to go to A, B, and C. So when I go
Mhm.
there next time, my experience looks a little different because I done decided to go to this eatery and then these other two stores. But I want
Mhm.
that experience to continue that will draw people who live here and who don't.
Yes, the
Hmm.
people who drive through every day.
That's
Okay,
right. Hmm.
thank you. We can open the floor. I know Tanya's itching to ask a question. I can see it. Go ahead, Tanya.
Well, I do have a question. So,
Yes,
okay,
Tanya.
so
Mhm.
you come. Thank you for sharing your experience about
You're welcome.
programming. It seems like you have a very broad experience and knowledge as to um, monitoring how programming should work.
Hmm.
So, considering the role of the council and your checks and balances or the oversight that should be seeing,
Hmm.
um, how would you give me how would you go about when you see agencies are continually failing to provide the services
Hmm.
um, for which they're dedicated and personnel's paid for in the county?
Absolutely. So, with as the OCR director, former OCR director, I had to work with every agency. And so I had to understand all of their processes, right? And so
Hmm.
as when we built the new 311 system, and that was through the Salesforce platform, I called it the road show. I went to every agency. I looked at every process, ask them how you got from point A to point B. Why did this happen? Some of them didn't even know their own process, right? Well, you have
Hmm.
turnover sometimes, and some people don't know they're new, etc. And so that's how we were able to take it from 200 down to 50 service requests in the or service level agreements really in the system. And so how would I go about the process? I think there's an audit that needs to be done
Hmm.
of agency programs. right? You know, just because you had something for 25, 30 years, it doesn't always necessarily make it relevant today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Times
Mm-hmm.
change. You have to evolve with programming. And so I would do an audit, especially of our top 4 or 5, eight, we called them the big four at that time, of the programming that is available to
Mm-hmm.
our residents. What is the return on investment for each of those programming? What does the spending look like? What's the staffing cost? Right? And what is the survey? What's the feedback that you're getting? Right? How
Mm-hmm.
many people have been served? How many people have been helped? Those are very, very important questions, you know, because when you have to leverage that capacity of your staff, right? There's
Right.
not an endless budget just to place
Mm-hmm.
people in those agencies to do the work,
Right.
right? There's
Mm-hmm.
sometimes there's duplicative services that are happening, but you have to sit down and understand what is. And many times when what I did, guys, it wasn't just OCR delivering the service. I worked with the other agencies. For
Mm-hmm.
example, Spanish CPR. That was under my tenure, still a program that exists today, but I work with Homeland Security to deliver the service, right? That provided a service to many of our Spanish speaking residents because they may have needed recertification. And this was done at no cost. But OCR combined resources with Homeland Office of Homeland Security Emergency Management to in order to provide that particular service. So that's what I did a lot of times. I look at it, Tanya, it's called collective impact,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so you do that, and then now you're able to leverage the resources that you have. But definitely, just to answer your question, basically, is you need an audit
Mm-hmm.
of the services. We don't have that.
Right. And I have
Mhm.
one other question.
Yes.
The another thing about the council. Let me give us your perspective on all these committees
Mhm.
that we have at the council, especially where we have, you know, committees that are being set up to have the council go into areas that they really have no jurisdiction, like monitoring the schools. That's not the job of the
Mhm.
council.
Mhm.
So, what is your view about how these committees should work on the council?
Well, hmm. Well, one, again, you take a look at the committees that exist. What is the purpose, right? Um, why were they formed in the first place? You know, I think that's one thing that you have to
Hmm.
take a look at. I think that many times in over the last couple of years, there have been these special interest committees that really serve, right, that have self-interest for the county council person,
Hmm.
to maybe, you know, get a point across
You mean
or,
like
you
the
know, get some
Education and
policy.
Workforce Development Committee?
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
right. Committee, these, and they call them work groups, and we're going to do a study, and that study really doesn't materialize to anything. And then, but a couple pictures, right? And so I think that you really have to look at what exists, and again, review, see if it's necessary, and if it's not necessary, we need to do away with the committees. And I'm not saying that some committees are not relevant. I just
Right.
don't think that they all are. And I don't know all of them, right? Guys, I
Right.
will never say I know everything because I don't. So I would definitely have to look at the committees that exist now. But I will
Hmm.
again go into why do they exist? What purpose do they serve? What and maybe they serve the purpose and now you're able to do away with them.
Okay.
Hmm.
That's my questions for now.
Okay.
Sorry, I was muted. Thank you, Tanya and Euniesha. Derek or
Yes,
Donna, which of
I'm
you have a
ready.
question?
I do. First, I have a
I'll go
comment.
after there.
Okay.
All right. First, I have a
I'll go
comment.
after you, Derek.
Yes, ma'am. Um, my comment is on your commentary about how you never closed down and never stopped during COVID. I
Mhm.
appreciate that because from my field of expertise, I was trying to offer, uh, I guess, some guidance to the school system during that time because
Mhm.
it seems like to me that a lot of people, took the time from COVID to just completely just relax and stop doing
Mhm.
their jobs, whether it was on purpose or whether, out of fear that we can't go into the office or what have you. But you have certain offices and organizations that have benchmarks that they have to meet during certain times of the year. So,
Mhm.
for instance, for the school system, for things to function properly in office
Mhm.
in August when school starts, if those things aren't done, um, during the time that you're supposed to do it, then it can be a disaster. And I think the school system, just using them as an example of getting their butt kicked in many areas still today from COVID because of people not
Mhm.
focusing during COVID and still doing their jobs. So
Mhm.
I appreciated that comment from you saying that you continue to work and continue to have your center going. But this is the big question, and this is the
Okay.
question that
Mhm.
um, I just want you to be perfectly honest about it.
Yeah.
Politics is a dirty game.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
when
Mm-hmm.
when you indulge or you desire to run for an office, you may go in with all of these ideas and your morals intact and your good religion behind you, or whatever makes you the person that you are. And slowly but surely, when you get the seat that you vie for and get elected for, that political monster starts eking away at your moral compass. And
Mhm.
this group was formed based off of moral compass, accountability, and governance. And that's what we need in this county. And the new faces that our constituents in this county should be looking to put in places of the elected positions, it should be people who have the intestinal fortitude to be able to say, you can't threaten me to take my job outside of being on the council. You can't threaten my son to not get this because you know he's going to get, because I'm not ruling, I'm not voting and going with the clique on the council to do things that y'all know really deeply are harming the community. So my question is to you is, how are you going to handle that when that comes to Mrs. Davis's doorstep? Because it's coming.
It's coming. I appreciate that.
Because it's
Um,
good.
Derek, I appreciate it. Before I go into that, just to say, and thank you. It wasn't just me; it was my entire team, OCR. Right? We did not leave because we had food giveaways. One of the largest food giveaways ever. We went from 300 to serving 18,000 individuals for a stuffer truck. Right? Also, being at the office, IKEA was calling. We were the only office to answer. That was the first time they ever partnered with government officials, and I was able to spread the work to the other agencies. And so, again, that's how important it was for us to be at our job. And so, I do agree with you, but I will say this, Derek, I have been in politics for a very long time. Not not as the county council member yet, but my job was unpolitical, right? And everyone understood that. Euniesha, even though I got some no's, I did it until I wore someone down, say yes. Because one, I came with a dad because this makes sense. Don't think that I didn't get my share of she's working us too hard or she's making us come to work or she's not being fair. Well, that was your job. That's what you signed up to do. So I held all my team members to that because you were paid, you were and still are paid by the taxpayers. I reminded them that of all the time. And so when that time, if it comes, I think for me, being in that position, I served everyone. Everyone. It didn't matter, right? My service, it didn't matter. It wasn't a special interest group or I couldn't answer this particular call. And that's what I did like by my leadership. They understood that. Right? They didn't ask me to do something out of the norm of my position because they understood that I was a service to all. And so I'm going to stand my ground in what I believe in and also what my constituents say and believe in. Because remember, I said I believe in having that stakeholder engagement, having that communication with residents, right? And I also believe that you have to have the right people in your corner. You have the right people, you have to have the right people to say yes to you. You also got the right people to say, that's not such a good idea, right? And when
Mhm.
you're wrong, I have those kind of people in my corner because I'm not perfect, right? I fall short just like anyone else, and I don't proclaim to be. But what I do understand, there's a thin line. And I think that as I go into this work, I'm always guided by it could have been you. And so I put people first, and that is what I'm going to do if and when elected. It is really about the people's mission. It's not about mine.
Thank you,
Mhm.
Donna. And then we're going to take this question that's on Facebook. Thank you to our Facebook watchers, our our Facebookers and our face lookers, because we know we got people that don't engage, but they be checking us out. So
Mhm.
go ahead, Donna.
Okay, I have a couple of quick questions. One, which impacted me just recently. My dad has Metro Access. Okay, he was able to use Metro Access to go back and forth to church. That's the one place I don't have to take him.
Mhm.
However, recently, this Sunday, past Sunday, I went to put him in for his ride. The
Mhm.
ride was accepted. And then when I went to try to send it to my sister, who also goes there,
Mhm.
I was told that the ride was canceled.
Mhm. Mhm.
Finally got in touch with somebody, and they said that they're no longer supporting the certain places. So they canceled these places.
Mhm.
Now,
Mhm.
seniors who shouldn't be driving, who
Yes.
this, who have been going to these same places, I know you have no control over private businesses, but when the private businesses support the community, how do you
Mhm.
just cut it off like that? And
Mhm.
sending him in a Uber cost me $32
Mhm.
going and
Mhm.
$53 coming back.
Right. Right.
That's ridiculous.
Yes, ma'am.
And to just cut it off without any community
Mhm.
input or
Mhm.
so how do we also hold businesses accountable when they offer service and take it away?
Mhm.
I don't know that
Mhm.
we can, but I feel like that was really shady. It just they say, well,
Understand.
we put a new computer in.
Mhm.
So that's one
Mhm.
question.
Mhm.
Okay, let
The other
let
thing
let
is
let let
about talking
Euniesha
about
answer
fraud.
that one,
Oh,
Donna.
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
let him do. Okay,
Okay.
all right. Go ahead, Miss
Well,
Davis.
well,
You go.
Well, one, there should have been proper notice to residents utilizing the service. So if the service areas
Mm-hmm.
have been reduced, that should have been noticed and it should have been a step down, right? It's not
Exactly.
noticed today and tomorrow it's reduced because you were relying on that, you planned for it. So that was
Absolutely.
one that the business should have had that conversation with community. And so one thing that I do want to fight for is affordable rides to appointments, to places that seniors need to go. I told you I have a 93-year-old grandmother, so I understand the importance of that particular service.
Mm,
And so I would definitely work with businesses like this. One, they have to see the community good in it. What does that benefit? What does that do to you for you as a business? I believe that all business should have some sort of community give as well in our areas. But I think, Donna, that's really me working with those businesses to ensure that proper service is delivered. Also, that's also grading businesses as well, right? You come into this community and you're getting your business, you have a product and you want people to come and buy the product, and that's how you generate your revenue, etc. But we also need to rate our business as well, especially when they provide a service, so people understand and they can make an informed decision on whether they utilize that or not, right?
But can I just
Mhm.
interrupt for a moment?
Yes.
Donna, are you saying that Metro Access doesn't service that venue anymore? Okay, so
right.
then
They decided that.
Right. So that would
And I
be.
said, sir, he said, we don't service that area. I said, sir, my dad has been going back and forth to that church, looking very forward to doing that every single Sunday. And you can look in his account and see that you do.
Right.
So Metro
I don't
Access.
understand.
So Metro Access, if I'm hearing correctly, Euniesha, it sounds to me like there needs to be some work done between the Center for Aging, social services, and the health department with Metro, right?
Right. That to have that connection there.
So
Absolutely,
I just
absolutely
want to
right.
tie all
Right.
that together that and then if I can also put in a little caveat that you know, Metro Access services anybody with disabilities. So
They're
one of the
supposed
things
to.
that we keep hearing about is seniors, and we're all seniors here, but we're not seniors who are in need. And so we don't want to forget those middle folks who go to work every day, who may not have children, who might have children, who are single, you know, and they want some kudos, they want some benefits for their tax dollars as well. So just want to jump in with that. Donna, can you ask your next question very succinctly so we can go to the Facebook?
Yes. Okay. You talked about fraud, waste, and abuse. And it's easy to use those words, throw them out there, but when it is known that fraud, waste, and abuse is taking place, and you have whistleblowers who help you identify those things, the accountability. The biggest word on our background is accountability.
Accountability, right.
And that's what you tend to not really see. You know, it may come out, but the accountability to those who are committing fraud, waste, and abuse, despite what office they hold. How do we really get that portion to really that portion of accountability to be implemented in all agencies? I mean, any place where is government money being used, there should be some accountability for our tax dollars.
Absolutely. And yeah, Don. I mean, good question. That there should be, and a lot of people want to talk about it. They want to say that it exists, but they don't. They don't do anything about it, right? And so there has to be, and I'm using this word audit, but there needs to be a financial check every year. It's like any good business, right? You have a financial health check of your business every year. You see what's going in, you see what's going out. The same thing needs to happen with government agencies as well. Looking at the spending, looking at the trends, the spending habits of our entities, and also looking at who our agencies are also doing business with. That's important as well. And so when you see
Family
that,
and friends.
when you see that there is waste and there is, a mismanagement of funds, then you have the documentation to support that because you've done your financial checks, you've done your audits. And that, again, that is what's missing, right? I was responsible for every dollar in the Office of Community Relations. I never went over budget, right? I understood that at any time, anyone could and should come look at my ledger, right? And so I made sure that I checked all the boxes for any contracts, any services, right? I followed it to the letter. And we have to hold our agency directors, people in our leadership, you have to hold them accountable because they're responsible, for that agency's management. So again, I go back to when you appropriate funds, your job doesn't stop there. You have to follow those funds to ensure that they were used appropriately.
So, Euniesha, I'm sure you've had engagement with the Office of Audits and Investigations, and we don't have a county auditor, and I don't believe we have a deputy auditor right now. We have information that shows us that family members have been hired to do jobs and they're ghosts to these jobs. Forget that they're not qualified, but they're ghosting the job.
Right.
You mentioned the mailers that are going out. My hope is that we will not allow another election season to pass us by where we don't have some policy changes that say at least after your registration, your filing date, you can no longer send out mailers, right?
Right.
That's right.
But
That's
how is it that we have the Office of Ethics and Accountability? There's been talk about getting an inspector general. But how do you as a council member self-police your colleagues who have control over all of these things? You know, it's kind of come down to an honor system. They support one another in their deceitfulness, in their corrupt activities, in their unethical activities. So what do you think needs to be done? You know, if you got in seat today and we cried out and said, we want accountability, but more so we want we want convictions. It's okay to be accountable. You know, you could say, oh yeah, I did that. I did it. That's accountability. But I think now what we're asking for is consequences. As I used to tell my children, choices have benefits and consequences. So how would you, as a council member, help with this unethical governance?
Well, one thing, voters need to help at this moment. That's one. We need to vote the right people in office. And because that is the will of the people, you have the voice, you have the power. So that's hopefully will be the first step to vote the right people to these seats. That way, you have a fresh set of ideas. You have a fresh set of perspectives, right? You have people coming in that want to do the work and good work of the people. But one thing that will definitely do, and as guys, as I said, I didn't hold back a lot when I was there, right? Because I understood that I wasn't going to be there forever. I needed to get the work done. I made some people happy, some people not. But again, it was always with people first in mind. One thing that I would do, I will pull. And again, this audit comes up, but I will pull every person that's been hired. What process did they go through? Was it a fair process? Show me, because ethically, it should have been a process of interviewing, vying for the job. You know, did this particular job, did it really exist before? Or was it created after? So there has to be some level of investigation, right? Some level of ask, what happened? How did we get to that point? And now how do we course correct, right? Just because something is there, it doesn't mean that you have to stay with it, right? And so again, we need people to vote for the right people to get into office, not your friends, friends of the friend of the friend. And that is what we're waiting for to ensure that this change does come. And I think that at the same time, when Derek, you said that you get in and you have all these ideas and it starts off the right way, right?
Right.
You have to remind your colleagues why they're there, who they're there for and representing, and being on the side of right. So that's what I will hope to serve as a reminder of why you're here, what work we have to do together to advance the county. The advancement of the county of people needs to be first priority. But yes, sometimes it's time for some people to go too.
All right. Some people, it's time for them to go. Thank you for that. And the last thing I'm going to say, unless somebody else just needed to piggyback, is we've had a lot of energy or conversation around Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission and the abuse of funds pulled mid budget year. We had a big debate, a big discussion at the hearing the other day about project charges. So can you just quickly talk about the council's use of discretionary funds as an individual council office, discretionary funding or non-defunding as a body, and then this whole project charges and how nonprofits can qualify to be in the loop, but they can't seem to justify for reimbursements. I have my own thoughts, but you can share yours.
Yes. Well, of course, you have a set of discretionary funding that can be used for, various things. But again, those should be outlined from the onset. What does that mean? What projects are applicable to discretionary funding? It's not something that you thought about last night and now it becomes a project that can be covered by those expenses. That's one, having that criteria early on. Two, yes, I am in support of nonprofits. I have a heavy background in nonprofits. I know the work that nonprofits do. They are a piece of our fabric and they help because their government can't respond to everything. And so nonprofits, they have a particular cause that they take up, that they support. And so with that though, you have to vet the nonprofit, right? Many of our nonprofits, there needs to be an education system with them. You need to talk about what their capacity level looks like, how they're serving, what their budget looks like. But it's the education to get them to that capacity. Now, I was in a meeting about last week, and I think I almost fell out of my seat because when sometimes someone could tell you anything and you believe it. So what I heard was that the money was taken from park and planning and put over to the county council side because it was a reimbursable issue and the nonprofits needed to get the funding for reimbursable. That's not what reimbursable is. Nonprofits have the funding first, you're reimbursed, but you're only reimbursed when you can validate expenses that are in line with the budget that you submitted and your proposal, right? So if it's not in my proposal, if it's not in my budget, my approved budget line item, then I shouldn't be getting reimbursed for that. And so sitting in the audience and hearing someone in leadership say that to a resident, you never answered the question, but they took away, this is why the money was moved. That's false. That's not what reimbursable is. So being able to have that checks and balance. So when you give out grants, there should be, now we're talking about committee, there should be a monitoring committee, right? Looking at the grants, making sure that someone's turning in their 6-month report, their annual report. This is the only way that you can see what work is being done, see was being moved, see if the project goals have been met, right? And seeing if it's advancing the county, seeing that this program is working, and also is it worth funding again and worth expanding? All of this you can get from the grant proposal, you get from the metrics, you get from the performance, and that is not being done. You do not just give an organization money and then you walk away. The monitoring has to happen. And so I feel like with park and planning, the funding can happen, but it needs to be monitored. These agencies need to be vetted, and for me, guys, I in my world, I had to learn, right? Of course, going in as one of my first jobs, right? In a nonprofit world, so I was learning a lot. Many people, they want to fund everyone. That doesn't necessarily work. You throwing $5,000 to this organization, another three over here. What do you think they are possibly going to, how are they going to perform and achieve, right? I believe in cohort funding. And so funding that lasts for a few years so that way you're able to see the true performance of an agency and truly see some outcomes. I'm not saying that you can't just fund one off, but doesn't necessarily work when you're trying to build community and trying to make that change. So that's one thing that I would definitely recommend, because when you're recycling going the nonprofits, different nonprofits over, not saying that everyone doesn't deserve a chance, but you really have to look at those that are performing well and that will benefit the community. So it's an oversight issue right now, monitoring issue that definitely needs to be addressed.
Amen. Well, thank you so much, Euniesha. Can you tell the viewers what somebody said transit. We want to talk about transit. Okay,
I think she hit the transportation.
Batman has joined the conversation.
Woo!
Was not ready for that. So yeah, we did kind of address transportation in the light of seniors. So
Let's see what
when you
Batman
guys
got to
go to
say.
your next forum with Ms. Davis, maybe you get to ask her, or how about you hit her up on social media or send
Yeah.
Or
her
if
an
they send you
email.
questions, Devon, you can always shoot them to me,
Yes,
and
Okay.
I
so
will
go ahead and
definitely
tell
be able to
people.
provide a response.
Yes, go ahead and tell people how to contact you, Euniesha, and we'll wrap it up.
And again, thank you for having me today,
Thank
guys.
you.
You didn't take it light though. So I tell you,
But
I
you were
mentally
prepared.
prepared for this. Tanya, that means a lot coming from you. Oh my goodness. What? Okay. So Davis for countycouncil.com. You can go there. You'll be able to contact me. And guys, I will respond. Right. I believe in responsiveness. It's not always the answer you may want, but at least someone followed up and gave you some, gave you some direction. So understand that I will get back to you timely. But again, thank you so much. Guys, this is a race. And it's been an experience that I have been enjoying getting out there with people. And my hope is that I get to serve the people once again. And again, bring that accountability, transparency, and good governance back to Prince George's County. So
All
thank you.
right. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Euniesha.
All right.
All right.
Have a good
Bye. Good
one.
night.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Oh man, that was good.
It
Anybody
was.
have any thoughts before we transition?
I'm just making
Anything
one.
that stood
I
out
really,
for you?
yeah, I really like the fact that she is well versed and experienced on programming and being able to provide the monitoring and the oversight that the council needs over agencies that are supposed to be doing it and making sure it's being done right. So I that came out a lot with what she had to say tonight.
Okay. All right. I'll hand it over to you, Tanya.
No, it's Batman.
Oh, I thought you had a school system update.
Well, first we wanted to get Sherman's testimony.
Oh, we're
We
gonna
can't
do
hear
that.
you. We can't hear you, Sherman.
Batman, da-na-na-na-na-na-na, Batman.
I didn't have a segment, but y'all asked me to play this video.
Last time I
Yes.
stood before you, I came dressed as Batman. Today, I'm just Sherman. And Sherman has seen enough. I'm here to put specific concerns on the record. Nepotism. Councilman Burrows' father employed by DPWT, then OCR, within a matter of hours with the same position description, earning $138,000. He also appropriated millions to his cousin's nonprofit and then gave them the Temple Hills Community Center. Maryland National Capital Parking Plan has stated it's going to cost them to have to raise taxes. Conflicts of interest. Funding decisions tied to Jones House, where relationships raises serious concerns, including Councilman Burrows using taxpayer dollars to vacation on a wellness retreat in Puerto Rico with his nonprofit. We also have massive donations to organizations like Progressive Maryland, Community on the Frontline, and PG Changemakers, both tied to Chair Oriata. Cronyism, the appointment of Walla Blagay to an at-large position under circumstances that the public has questioned, and the pattern of political advancement through internal alignment rather than open competition. Insider movement of power. Calvin Hawkins and Ingrid Watson transitioned to the EDC, further raising concerns about whether positions are being created or vacated to benefit connected individuals. This is a pattern. And while all this of this is happening, the public is still waiting for transparency on serious issues such as the jet fuel spill at Joint Base Andrews. Silence on that issue is unacceptable. OPEDs are in trouble. I've listened to countless testimonies during the budget listening sessions, and I wonder if you're paying attention to the same briefings as I am. The county remains in a structural deficit. The county decisions lack transparency. This county's corruption is pervasive. In all departments, we see how connections appear to outweigh qualifications. Many positions are being filled by loyalists, campaign workers, and donors, and Inez's law has certainly accelerated this process. County workers live in constant fear. We see you consolidating power. This administration and council has become Trumpian. I am telling you now, the public is paying attention, and they are demanding accountability. My name is Sherman Hardy. Today is May 5th, and it's been 176 days since Prince George's County had an auditor.
Woo woo!
Woo! Woo! Woo!
Well, It's actually been 177 days at this point, but
Yes.
that's fine.
So what is the Inez law?
Oh, that's the law Crystal had passed because she wanted to get rid of people. You know how she had a high
Ooh.
turnover in her staff.
Mm-hmm.
So is that when
Inez told her no,
is that when the
and
council assumed the hiring and firing on the
hmm
administration side and
yeah,
pushed out OHRM?
hmm
So why is it called Inez?
because that's who was geared towards.
Oh, so
Oh.
you named it that.
No, I didn't name it that. Sources said, and I don't
Oh,
never tell my
sources
sources.
said.
You know, that's
Mm-hmm.
something I did want to let everybody know. All you can reach out to any one of us. All of us
Yes.
have our different sources, and we never really
And we
tell
don't
who is who,
tell.
even to each other. So, I
Yep.
mean, whoever you
We
feel
don't
comfortable with.
tell.
Wow, that was powerful.
It was. It
That guy
was.
that was sitting down to the left, when you said when you said something about Ed Burrows, he said, everybody else they kept a straight face through the whole thing. People were just
No.
intent.
You
Like
could
they were just
Yeah,
like what?
Burroughs tried to keep a straight face. His face wasn't straight. You could see.
Mm-mm.
it's called shock.
Yeah,
Shock and
it
awe.
reminded me. Remember Total Recall when that guy was trying to convince he was trying to convince Arnold Schwarzenegger that this was a dream, and all of a sudden the sweat came down on his head. That's what that reminded.
I wish the people could have seen Ed Burrows' face. He went from sitting like, oh, here we go,
Here
to
they go again.
Mm-hmm.
straight
But
up.
we get frustrated, but we still pushing.
Yes, and
Yeah,
you know
that was
what? And folks, y'all got to take this serious because Sherman puts a lot of time into doing these MPIAs and getting this information. And trust me, they try to throw it at them all piecemeal so that it's incoherent. It doesn't make sense. And Sherman puts in the time to put this stuff together so that you all can have it in a consumable format. Because trust me, the government doesn't want to give it to you. Your elected officials who sit up here and smile in your face and talk
Mhm.
about giving you foot rubs and
Transparency and
crabs and all this
accountability.
stuff. Yeah, they're
Hmm
trying to make sure that you know with senior proms and all this craziness with your tax dollars, they don't want you to know how they are wasting your dollars.
And they're trying to
And
charge me an exorbitant amount of money to get this
Stealing.
information as well. You know,
mhm,
$700, $800. So I have to try to figure out exactly how to ask for what I want. But quite frankly, I don't know if y'all can tell my energy is really down today, and that's because this work is exhausting. Like, and I had somewhat of a release as well. I mean, I know y'all wanted me to talk about it, but I'm like, you know what? I laid it all out on the table. I threw everything, well, not everything, because I only had 2 minutes. There's so much more I have to actually get out, but
a
right.
I just
minute
left it
and
out there.
57 seconds.
Right, because I knew I didn't have anything more. So I was like, by then I need to have cut it off. And whatever was said just was said and left, on the floor. But quite frankly, like I said, I just had to get it off my chest and let everybody else in this county know what was going on. And it's now, what are you going to do about it? I mean, this
Right.
is a piece of what is going on behind the scenes.
Oh
There is
gosh,
so
yes.
much more.
So
And
Mhm.
Tanya
much
can
more.
elaborate on a whole slew of other issues. So can Levon and Derek and Donna. But
Yes.
the fact that you know, imagine, because a lot of people are like, oh, that's too much. This is too much to pay attention to. But imagine me having to know all of this and more, and
Right.
it's like nothing is being done about it. And
Right.
I know how I
That's my
feel,
issue.
and for me, the workers of the county is who I care about, when I
Mm-hmm.
look at this
Mhm.
stuff, because it is not a good feeling to go to a hostile work environment.
Nope.
Right.
It is
Hmm.
not a good thing, and I know how that feels.
Nope.
And
Mhm.
I am so enraged about it. And I joke about it, that I think it's TMJ or whatever, like I didn't clench my jaw so much that like I got pain, and like it's because I don't
Exactly.
want to say the wrong thing, and I don't want to cuss nobody out. But it's getting to that point. It's getting to a boiling point, and people feel it in the atmosphere.
And that's why, folks, we need, we appreciate the great comments that you post, but there's nothing like you putting some paper to pen and getting out there with us. There's nothing like, you testifying if you can. I usually can't go testify because of my work schedule. But there's other things that you all can do. You need to let your elected officials know. And you may say, "Oh, they're not going to listen." No, you still put those letters in. You still send the letters to the governor. You still send the letters to your state legislators. You need to let them know, because in that 1 minute and 57 seconds, what Sherman talked about adds up to this $170 million deficit and growing that we are dealing with. And all of this good feel stuff that, well, they're trying.
These
That's
parties
not.
every week, all the catering and stuff that they're doing.
Yeah,
And
that's
you have
costing.
people, the I don't know if they even paying attention to the budget briefings. The police department and the different agencies, their vehicle fleets, like half of them at this point are saying, hey, they need to be, set aside, that they need more than repairs, and it costs more to repair than the vehicles actually own. From the way the agreements are set up, just about, needing new facilities and buildings, the roads. I mean, there's just so much going on, and we're sitting around here, talking about we have a zero budget, whatever that is.
Especially,
so one of the things that irritates me is, and Greg Holmes, the candidate for county executive, addressed this, and I really liked how he put it. He said there's a budget that has projected expenses in it. He said, but with the gas going up, and we have to gas up those vehicles that public safety use, and all the inspectors and all the staff, Public Works, and all the staff people who have county vehicles, which the Baker administration eliminated, that adds up. So how are we accounting for those unforeseen expenses?
Raw materials
costs, right?
As well. That they actually mentioned a lot of this during the budget briefings, and saying, how I think it was during the parking and planning briefing, they were the commission was saying how things are getting more expensive to do. It was either them or it was DPWT. I'm sorry, but either way, it impacts both of them.
Right.
So
we're spending money that we never allocated for. So you can't have a zeroed out budget and then not have revenue coming in. Go ahead, Derek. I think you were trying to say something.
No, I was just going to say, I think it's perplexing that you have people who can work in positions of directors and supervisors and managers, and if they make mistakes, costly mistakes that cost budgets to go awry, they're immediately the fall person and terminated. But we have elected officials who obviously are doing corrupted things. And with Sherman's report, these are not the things he's saying off the top of his head. These are things that he's paid for. These are reports that he's requested through Privacy Act. I mean, these are things that people are doing. And he had the boldness to say certain names of who the culprits are of the mismanagement of money, but they still sit there in their positions. It has to be, even if they're an elected official and they're doing something in that chair while they're serving their term, if it isn't right, if a director can be fired on the spot, why can't they be relieved? I mean, we'll have to have some kind of.
But it's up to the people, because this is why they sit there all smug, because they think that you are not going to vote. That's what they know. There's no recall laws in place. So they know the only way that they can be pushed out of office, other than the FBI putting silver bracelets on them, is that you vote them out. And so we need people to storm the ballot like never before. You need to act like you are voting for the next Barack Obama coming into the county council, and you're about to vote out, George Bush or whoever you didn't like on the Republican side. You're about to vote that person out and put in some people that are going to show some integrity, because these people, they don't care that they have no integrity.
No.
They say things with a smile on their face about how they're gonna, oh, I love my seniors, we're gonna have a prom, oh, I love my people, we're gonna have crabs, oh, I love my mothers. Every social ill that they face in their lives becomes a program that they want to pay for with our tax dollars
Crab
instead of.
eating is a social ill. Donna.
Well,
So,
But
so
let
the
me finish.
So,
But
but
no, I didn't mean that was a social ill. You don't get me in trouble, Levon. But
that's right.
I like one of the things that Euniesha, is that her said?
Euniesha.
Euniesha said that you can't just go to sleep and wake up and say, "Oh, let's do it." And that is what we have in our elected offices right now, in our executive branch and our legislative branch of government. And it's just, it is not sustainable, folks.
but
So,
but not just that. I also want. I know we talked about the rising costs, but then we have the OPEDs, and that's what I was talking about
mhm.
in the video just now. It's the other post employment benefits, like the retiree healthcare obligations, um, owed to former county employees after retirement, and that's the
Hello?
medical prescription coverage. Can you hear me? Oh,
Yes,
Hmm.
I can hear
okay.
you.
Oh, it's Taya. I thought she couldn't. But yeah, and so Prince George's County has pressures on all three of them. On There's $1.7 billion in unfunded OPEB liabilities. Only 6.5% of it is funded, and we have a $1.9 billion in pension liability. So the county is definitely not in a
Bankrupt.
position to say, I didn't say
We
bankrupt,
are.
but
Well,
we
we
definitely,
are. Let's just
yeah,
say it. We are heading toward bankruptcy, and we're heading toward
because
losing our triple A
well, we
rating.
already downgraded on one of them.
Well, I thought we got downgraded on the plus, but we still have the triple A's, but I'm hearing that we may lose
Oh,
that.
I didn't know it was that.
And
Okay.
and then, when you think about all of these things that we have out here financed,
Hmm.
our interest charges go up. Remember, when we had that $170 million deficit, they had it on a nice little, like a tagline on the council page when it was talking about why do we have this deficit. And one of the things was paying higher interest rates. This is after we lost the plus on our triple A rating. So what happens if we start losing those letters? It's going to be more. So folks, while you're sitting up here smiling and laughing and doing all these photo ops because you got 5 big crabs, or you got to get a mommy makeover day, or you got to get your feet pampered, or you got to go to the prom because you didn't go to the prom when you was back in the 40s and
50
50s,
years
you didn't
ago.
get to go to the prom, so now you get to go to the prom. That costs.
Right.
And that is costing you money down the road in another way.
Right. There has
They
to be a
Let me say this
sacrifice.
one. Well, let me say this one last one. In our budget, they are expecting the telecommunication tax that was taken from us, from the
Angela
state.
also Brooks
And
took that from us.
right, well, come on now, she has some help in the General
They're the
Assembly.
lobbyists.
I
Yeah.
know,
Well,
but
not only lobbyists,
she led the charge.
she has some delegates that purposely, and I ain't gonna mention one name because she dropped out of a race just recently, but she
Well,
had
damn. I mean,
there was a delegate that played gatekeeper to keep public um testimony in opposition of that out. And that was orchestrated. So it wasn't just her, it was also those in the General Assembly working with her. But that tax is being expected to where it was, I think Denny told us that it was something like $100 million when it was at the state level. Well, the projection that is in the budget currently is around $140 million. So this, and y'all got to understand, this is energy tax, and this is telecommunication tax. These are taxes on our cell phones. This is our taxes on the energy bills that we pay just in Prince George's County. So they are taking our
And these
money and
ridiculous
using it as
taxes are
fund
going.
money. What'd you say,
They
Donna?
are, I mean, all of these new taxes that showed up on our phone bills and, you know, on our cell bills and our cable bills. And I'm like, what the heck is this?
That's what
You
this
know,
is. They're
not
projecting
making
already.
sense.
And understand this, because when I was talking to one of the phone providers, they told us that, you know, they get these increases from our government and they have to do it, and these are targeted on us, y'all. So
Mhm.
the you know, mommy pamper day, senior prom day, all of that stuff, it costs. And I'm a senior. I'm ready to retire. I don't want to be subsidizing your fun,
Right,
your play day fun. You
right.
figure it out your own way. The way when I want to go out and have fun, I figure it out with my own money. You need to
And
figure it out too.
right. And there has to come sacrifices. I don't know anybody that has some budget issues, money issues in their household, and they still taking trips and buying cars and shopping and eating out every day, right? And that's kind of the equivalent of how I see these council members acting. And then when their colleagues sit there in silence and are okay with it, whether they're sponsoring their own things or not, they're complicit. And what I need you
Caroline
all,
uses a phrase that I won't say or repeat, but it applies.
yeah, I
NS.
mean, yeah, they afraid,
NS.
but you know what? You got to be willing to sacrifice. If they can hang, if Jesus can hang on the cross, then you can go and lose a seat. If you stand up for what's right, then you can lose a seat.
Right. Well,
We
you
have
know
Well,
what?
I'm
all
a yellow
made
bonnet.
some decisions where it didn't pay off in our
Mm-hmm.
benefit, but we did what we had to do. So one of the things I need you all as our CAG chat, our CAG followers to understand is number one, we are a watchdog group. We are an advocacy group. We do a lot of work. We appreciate everybody that gives us shout outs. But if you ain't for better government, get off
Yeah.
don't spend time criticizing the people who are, forget about us as the cohort. But there are people who are really starting to share and to give us ideas and to share, give us insight, sharing their experiences with us,
Mm-hmm.
and we can all learn from those things. And we
Right.
don't want to discourage people from participating in this public platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it takes guts to put your information out there on the internet. Okay? So let's
Right.
support one another. We can disagree without, name calling, without being demeaning. Okay? Number
Mm-hmm.
two, we have 3 council members who are running unopposed. They do not have challengers. That's District 2, or District 3, I always
3. Yeah.
confuse it.
Yeah.
District
3.
3, Eric Olson, who was anti extending term limits, but he came back and ran again, and now he's running in his 4th term unopposed, which should not be. We have Crystal Oriato, who is Queen Crystal, the bully girl, bully woman, who is the chair right now, and she's in District 7 running unopposed. And then you have Mr. Ed Burrows running unopposed in District 8. There are 11 seats on the council. That means that there are 8 open races. We need everybody that's going back, who's on the ballot, who is sitting in that space now, to not win.
Yes.
Okay? That's District 4, Tim Adams. That's District 5, Shayla Adams Stafford. I don't know her opponent. We need you CAG people to put some stuff up on our page telling us about her opponent. If you live in District 5, what are you hearing? What are you seeing? If you need to DM us, please do. And we have District 6 appointed member, Danielle Hunter, who is using council dollars, resources, and time to do meet and greets in the community that look like campaigns. Okay? She's sending mailers. Tim has sent out mailers. I don't know if Shayla is doing anything. She did.
I got one today.
Shayla?
I got one today. Now they're really being slick because now they're putting more than one. I got one with Crystal today, Juanica, and Shayla.
Oh, and that's to promote Juanica.
Well, it's to really promote all of them.
But they don't even live in your district. Why
no, but yeah. But you got to let me tell you what it was. It has those three, and what they're doing now is they are now the chair and vice chair for the General Assembly. I guess that's another new committee. And so they're going to be talking about what happened in Annapolis. Well, that's why we have our delegates and our senators to do. So now there's a big mailer going out where those three are at the top, and they're going to host something to talk about what happened at the General Assembly.
So,
they get creative in how they make up these flyers.
Right. And so you have Danielle Hunter, who knows nothing. I call her Happy Homemaker Hunter. She said that she learned how to listen because she raised 3 children. So that qualifies her to be a council member. This is 2026, y'all. This ain't 1940. And then you have District 9, which is an open seat. What did I miss? Oh, I skipped District 1. So District 1 has Martin Mitchell and Michelle somebody. And Michelle is being endorsed by Tom DeNoga, who
Garcia?
Is on his way out. She's his chief of staff. So we don't want her because that means that he will be dictating what to do. District 2 is the open seat, which has a Victor Ramirez and another young man. We want the other young man because Victor Ramirez is too entrenched in the network of incumbents. So I think I covered everybody. Sorry for confusing the conference for not putting them out in order, but I'm going to be posting up that anyway. But all that to say, every race is critical. We have 8 races that are critically important. Oh, and then the at-large seats. Sorry,
that may or may not be.
We got 2 incumbents running. Sidney Harrison, who's in District 9, who thinks that you know his name and you gonna vote for him and you gonna support his candidate. No, we not. How arrogant of you, Sidney. And yeah, I'm saying it. That was just arrogant. I'm Sidney. Y'all know my name.
Yeah. You didn't hear the comment in the council, but I did because you didn't get there in time. But he was surely playing it up. But,
yeah, you said that. And then you have Jolene Ivy.
But the people in my district was like, who is he?
Right. At large, who, Jolene has experience as a delegate and all the things, but Jolene is responsible for the dominoes falling down and the musical chairs, because instead of her staying in her District 5 seat, she went for the at-large seat, and then she turned around and went for the county executive seat, and all of this stuff happened because of that.
In the end, Tim Adams still made it on the council, but we see she was trying to prevent that from happening, which in retrospect, I still would say, like, maybe not, like, I wouldn't have done that, but she felt like that was the best thing to do, for the county.
We don't need no Florence Nightingales Stay in your lane, ride your
Now,
own
wait a
horse.
minute. Now, who are the other at-large candidates?
I don't know all of them. Jennifer Rios is one. I like Jennifer. I've met with her a few times. Gina Jacobs is running. She's
Mm-mm.
the former school board person who led the reason why Rashawn had to go back and address the
Right.
school board.
And don't forget, she's the attorney that negotiated for Mr. House separation and didn't sign the separation paper, so nobody would know she was in the room. So
Right. Then we
please,
have Keith
bye.
Washington who's running. I was at church Sunday with Keith, had a really good time worshiping with him. I don't know anybody else.
Okay. No, I was just wondering who was left because we definitely do not want Virginia Jacobs in that council seat. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No
So
way.
so we need y'all to get engaged. It's less than what is it, 50 days now from the election.
Right. Oh,
We
you know what? And
Mhm.
Jacobs is actually endorsed by Progressive Maryland. So isn't that so funny? You negotiated the separation for House, who was strategically forced out by progressives, and now they are endorsing you for the
Mhm.
at-large seat. Y'all see how this stuff goes
They
full
give
circle?
new meaning to you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I tell you
Hmm.
that. Strange bedfellows, they are bringing all the metaphors to life in this season. So we just need you all to pay attention and to share. Don't assume that your people know it's going to be an election. Yeah, we see all the signs, but people just don't be
Yeah,
seeing stuff. So
we
make
gotta
sure
vote.
touch 10 people. Touch 10 people and ask them, you know how you go to church and they say, look down your row and ask them, do
Hmm.
they know Jesus? I need y'all to look down your phones and ask them, do they know who they voting for?
And you know what? And don't keep saying, "Oh, they'll never win. They're gonna do the same old people." You know what? Folks in Texas and in Florida and in Iowa and other places have gotten sick and tired. If you have people getting out and voting and flipping um state races that in red states that were predominantly red state, and they flipped them blue because the people realized we got to come out and vote in large numbers. That's what has to happen in Prince George's County.
Right.
You have to
Well,
act like
that's why
you
we
are
need
trying to.
recall laws, and we need to elect me so we can get them in there. But
Well, but no, but remember the recall laws have to start at the state
girl,
Yeah,
I know.
we got to get the right senators and delegates in there
Well,
for
So
that's
that.
yeah,
our
we need
next
me on the council
initiative.
so I can advocate to
Well,
the Prince
you
George's
did.
County
Yes.
delegation. And on to the next subject,
So
which
wait,
is
wait, wait.
us
I
not
got
having
one
an
more.
auditor again. I
Hold
know,
on.
just pause for a second. I just want to say this while we talking about certain stuff is that the well, it's been 177 days since Prince George's County had a county auditor. I don't know if I'm proud to say or sad to say or however it may, but I'm just gonna say it. They went ahead and got a new auditor for the um, Office of Integrity and Compliance. You know, they went ahead and
Well,
switched
wait a minute,
out
auditor or integrity chief?
integrity chief. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
okay. So,
Yeah.
well, you know what? But that's
Okay,
important because
wait, hold. Can
okay,
I just
okay,
finish the
yeah,
election
you
thing?
finish yours, and then
So
we
we
sort of go
also
back to that
have
point.
a petition effort underway by Tanya Sweat, who is declaring a run as an independent
Mm-hmm.
for the November general election. She is collecting signatures. Go to her social media
Mhm.
pages or go to www.tanya sweat.com to pull down your petition, get your household to sign it. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't necessarily mean you want to cast a vote for her, but what it does mean is that people will have a second opportunity to choose leadership for Prince George's County. She will send volunteers to your house to pick it up. She has event locations for you to do signatures. And so you have no reasons not to do
Right.
this and make some real history in Prince George's County. Now, y'all can go ahead and talk about the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's hop back on that OIC, which is very important because Sherman has been talking about um one of the things that Sherman said is them consolidating power. And they have been doing that very, and I will give them from being strategic. They have they, most criminals are, but they're very strategic. And one of the things that they have done, because we were looking at them doing it from trying to go up to the state and just abolish the position, and that is the Office of Integrity and Compliance. Now, Frank Turner um, had led that organization for going on, I guess, going on 4 years now. And Frank has been very gosh,
Pivotal.
pivotal. Thank you, y'all.
I
Can't get it
know.
out.
Yeah.
And in doing investigations that the little criminal network didn't like. He did the investigation against David Murray, and showed that David still owes us $10,000. Well, he owes
Mm-hmm.
PGCPS $10,000. Shayla Adams Stafford owes over $36,000 to the school system.
111 and 94
And
cents.
and and so he was, and he put out reports showing waste with the school system. And of course, they still were not doing the corrections, even under the great leadership of Brandon Jackson, who's now COO for the EDC.
Who needs to resign from the Board of Education.
Right. And another payoff job, like Sherman had mentioned earlier, because remember, he committed theft. I don't understand, man. You could steal $800,000 from children, and this county does nothing about it. Yes, Brandon Jackson, I did say you committed theft and you committed fraud because you did not have the signature authority to sign the separation agreement for Millard House, but you did. Your signature is the only signature that's on there, and it was never voted on before you signed it. So, and we know all about the backtracking that you did. But anyway, um, Frank was instrumental in doing investigations on this, and we will be trying to get more information as to why he was fired. This is the problem. His salary is paid for by the school system, and this was another thing that we had challenged was unconstitutional about that position, because he's being paid by the school system, which falls under the executive branch of government, but the authority for hiring and firing for his position lied with the legislative branch. So that is the legislative branch dictating to the executive branch. That's unconstitutional.
Well, that's
But
what happened when you cut deals with
and yeah, but it was sad because
horses.
the deal the deals were cut at both the local level and the state level. But anyway, now every place where there was oversight, these folks with their little criminal empire have removed that oversight. The auditor, now the Office of Integrity and Compliance. There have been attorneys
And
fired.
Ed had talked about that earlier on, saying that he don't know why we have our Office of Integrity and Compliance because they're
Who
only
said that?
investigating former board members.
Oh, Ed said that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, and we all know that Ed, come on, you think we don't remember you got your good old buddy Alonzo Washington to sponsor that for you at the state level and push forward to say we need integrity because you thought you were going to, when you got on the council, you thought you were going to control that position to keep your tabs and control over the school system. What was that you told people when that bill was written? I'm going to show you what oversight looks like. Yeah. Well, remember all that, Ed? Well, it didn't pan out. And so y'all, they didn't like what Frank Turner was doing. Frank Turner is no longer there. And now I understand they've hired someone else. So how can people who are committing criminal acts, violate stealing your tax dollars, hire somebody for that office? That is really, that's whack. That's
Bad
just whack.
practice.
People with no integrity are going to hire somebody with integrity to monitor the school system.
Well, you see, they tried to hire Waller Friend to be the county auditor, and that didn't work out. That's why it's still 177 days since we had one.
They're going to have a lot of work to get done. It's going to be a lot of catching up.
It's got to be a clean house. And that's the other thing, they are so entrenched with all their little loyalists. And I mean, Trumpian, you hit the nail right on the head when you said that, Sherman. Trumpian all the way. Y'all can't even
Consolidating
talk.
power, like going into areas they shouldn't be in, massive deficits and big parties and gold, and it's a lot.
Trips to Puerto Rico.
And all the upgrades that you see in personal life.
I got another one to tell y'all about, but I can't do it just yet. But
okay, well, we wait for
just
the
know
video.
They said during a budget hearing, and it was already mentioned. But when I give y'all the full details of it, it's gonna blow your mind.
So did you drop part 2 of your
No, I have not, and that's what I was working on before the chat started, and what I'm going to work on after it ends. So no, I would not be doing the hour-long after chat.
You don't have to do the hour-long after chat.
And y'all, this is the other thing that's so important about this election, and we're not just saying that because Sherman is one of ours. We need people in office that are going to challenge the status quo and not bend for it. We need people who are not afraid. I mean, you can have all the experience that you want, but when it comes to challenging the wrong that you see, and I'm just gonna come because we say names, that is one of the reasons why I could never support Lolita Walker in another elected position. When she went for school board, we all couldn't vote for her, but we went out for her because she made some promises. One, she said she wasn't going to leave her term. She was going to finish office. She had no aspirations for higher office.
Yeah.
We saw that wasn't true. She was the deciding vote when that illegal vote was taken for Sean Joseph to become the interim superintendent. And instead of doing the right thing and saying no, and they could have put somebody in place who is currently in the administration, maybe like Dr. Coleman or somebody, they could have been the interim superintendent. No, she's going to sit up and say, oh, we got contracts to sign and all this stuff, so we're going to put the politics on the back end. But you just agreed to sign a contract binding the system.
I think she said more like, we'll deal with the politics later.
No, she said on the back end.
Or was it the back end?
She said
we'll deal with it later.
Yeah, we're going to deal with that on the back end.
We need to find that video.
But you're signing a contract that commits this system to say this man can come in. And then you sat there until you resign and you watch this man come in before his contract was effective and fire all these people in the school system. So we had to pay double salaries while he brought in. And how can he bring in all these people? He just got here. But he had his list of hirees. A lot of people coming from Aisha Brave Boy's world and Ed Burrow's world. And then you put them all in these positions. So I'm sorry, she sat there, she watched it, and now we are looking at our school system. See, they tried to be slick. First, they said it was $250 million was the deficit. Then they tried to play some of this robbing Peter to pay Paul, try to steal the overtime from the bus drivers, try to take money from teachers, was sneaking into the discretionary accounts for the principals, trying to snatch money everywhere they could. And of course, we got tips and we told y'all what was happening. And then next thing we know, things are about face. So y'all, you know what they announced just the other day? Another $100 million deficit. So our school system now, since Dr. Sean Joseph was named the interim superintendent, is now $250 million in debt. $250 million. But yet he is continuing to build his empire of hiring all these people. But yet they told us he was the smartest man in the room. He was the one that could do it. But he got all these advisors. He got one that speaks A to B, C to D, E to F, because he can't think for himself. All of these people in here, $200 million in less than 1 year is our school deficit. And where are they trying to cut first? Not in the central office. They're trying to cut in the classrooms first. Our programs. Lisa Howell is back, y'all. So thank you all for joining and doing raising your voice about what was going on. But he tried to get rid of her. It didn't happen because we spoke up. The director of procurement trying to make her reapply for her job for her refusal to do a sole source $2 million contract for LIUNA. Another one of those workforce development programs like Edward Burrows did with LIUNA when he was on the board. That's what they're trying to do now. And again, like I said, we got a $250 million deficit now with our school system. This is where we all need you. This isn't a vote. This is for you to put pen to paper and write the state superintendent, write the governor, and you said, let them know Dr. Sean Joseph got to get up out of here. $250 million, y'all. $250 million in less than a year. And that's another reason why Lolita Walker can't be elected to another office, because she sat there and let this happen too. Is this something that we need to play? Sherman?
Oh, I'm sorry. Levon had wanted to see the video.
Oh, okay. Oh, man. We got an attorney on staff. We got a parliamentarian on staff. And look at all this mess that we got.
And then Mr. Ed right there, he showed up.
Oh, is that the one when they voted for last June 26th?
Yeah, that was the night I was talking about when we were.
Yeah.
This board is really because our scholars are at the forefront, not politics. And I think that we can fight the politics on the back end, but what we do need is somebody inside of the seat, somebody in.
See? Put that on the back end. On the back end.
Mm-hmm. Play it again, Sam.
You gonna play it again?
It's playing. It's just
okay.
I can't. It jumps. Remember, there was an issue with the video.
Oh yeah, that night they said
it was storming.
There was Frank, y'all. They canned him.
Behoove our children or our scholars. When I take a look at my vote on this board, it is really because our scholars are at the forefront, not politics. And I think that we can fight the politics on the back end, but what we do need is somebody inside of this seat now, and the process to begin for a full-time and a full-term superintendent. And so as I vote tonight, it'll be because I see the future for our children. I think accountability needs to be had inside of this seat, but there's a lot that is on the table for us, for contracts that's not being signed, for things that's not being moved, and that needs to happen now. Now, how we hold him accountable inside of that role, I think, is up to each and every one of us. The year contract, there were a number of questions that were asked by board members, and I thank each of the board members for having this amazing conversation. But what I will say is that it is imperative, in my estimation, that we continue to move forward for our scholars. The betterment of that, hold somebody accountable inside of the role and keep on moving for our scholars. That's so important. Meanwhile, we need to ensure that we are following our processes, and where we're not, to check ourselves, because that means that our processes need to be governed accordingly.
Well, she should have checked herself that night, because all they had to do was vote no, and someone like Dr. Coleman could have become the interim superintendent.
So when she mentioned, because we were out in the hallway and I never went back to watch this, so when she said her colleagues had questions, she basically was dismissing the concerns that they had about this contract because they didn't get to see the contract before that night, right?
They got to see it an hour. I think Robin said maybe the hour or the just before the meeting.
Right.
Is what Robin Brown said. And remember, we marked up that contract. It's on our page, y'all, because the contract had him getting $365,000 for 1 year.
And the second thing I want to line out there too.
Go ahead and play that.
And you are preparing to hire a superintendent for 4 years. One speaks to when you are filling an interim vacancy. Those processes are not similar. When you are hiring a superintendent for 4 years, you are expected by the law to go through a full process where you have a committee of 3 individuals. I believe the county exec has laid out she intends to follow that process. And should she not, it's up to the people to hold her accountable to follow the law. But in this process, the relevant code section says that what the county executive is expected to do is appoint an interim. And that is what we're doing today. We're voting on a 1-year contract. And so with the balance of my time, I call previous question to the vote on this item.
Okay, you know what would have been nice? It would have been nice if he would have put the law up there instead of the lying, instead of that lying preacher sitting up here lying to you all. He is a minister of God, and he sat right up there and lied to you all. And it would have been it would have been nice if he'd have just put the words up there so everybody could read for themselves.
But the other issue is he said the county executive is doing it. Euniesha wasn't even the county executive.
But not only that, the law does not even give the county executive that authority. Nowhere in the law does it give them that authority. Nowhere. So again.
So you're saying that there is no differentiation between whether it's a 1-year contract or a 4-year appointment.
If you read the law says in the case of an interim selection, the county executive selects. And if you go back up to the beginning when it talks about the permanent, it again says the county executive selects. Where do they select from? The list given to them from the committee that is established by the state superintendent and the governor. Now, if they wanted to do like how they did with Monica Golson, where, the board was like, hey, we just want an interim person, they could vote an interim person in. They could have done that, but they didn't do that. They chose to go through this process of trying to fool everybody to make everybody think that Euniesha was doing something, but all she did was break the law, period. She had never taken an oath of office. You don't do the crime and then go back and say, oh, I'll go do it right now. You don't steal the stuff and then say, oh, I'm going to take it back and now pay for it.
Right. That's the one thing I wanted to make sure people understood is that she acted outside of her role as state's attorney, and they tried to say she was an interim, what they say, a county executive elect, and there is no work for a county executive elect. So we just need people with some integrity all the way around. We tired of the parties.
It's
we tired of the Preakness is coming. Now we had the 330th anniversary. Now they doing some Caribbean festival.
And bet not see nobody at the Chris Brown and Usher show from the county.
Yeah.
But I have a question about celebrating the 350th anniversary of Prince George's County. Because 350 years ago?
330.
330? Oh, okay.
The technology exchange is coming up too, so that's going to be a nice event to attend.
What were we doing 330 years ago in Prince George's County?
400 years a slave.
I want to go down to the field. And I'm going
I think we were on some ports being sold. That's what I think we were. We were down there. We were down there in Bladensburg.
There's more than us here in the county now.
But she said we. So the backer was there, Massa. The backer was right there. I don't know what happened to it, Massa, but we put the backer right there. Yeah, that's what we were doing.
I'm just like, I was just asking, what are we really celebrating that Prince George's County has been around 330 years? Because what were we doing?
Yeah,
We
it's
would
just
say, don't take my baby, Basil, please. Please
Well,
don't take
we
my baby.
start, I guess, at when
I'm
did
sorry.
we started taking over power in 19, gosh, what
50
94.
I'm gonna
years
book at.
ago.
Yeah,
1994. Was it 1994?
when after Denning.
94?
Gosh, where is my
Yeah,
note?
No,
94.
in the 80s.
No, our first Black county executive was in
Well, but we
1994.
had state legislators.
Yeah, we had sprinkles here and there.
It was
Wayne Curry was
Wayne Curry.
1994.
yeah, it was a
Yeah.
Sasha machine between 34 and 62. Then it was um
Cause
Republicans
see,
still had a 78.
yeah, when my family moved here, we were the second Black family on our street.
Yeah, I got to get back to read my book too. But we have another book that's coming that I need to promote
Oh yeah, I
also
already got that one.
on the CAG
Yeah.
I just
page.
have to read it.
Yeah, she'll be here in June, so we got to talk about how we're going to host her with a reception so she can talk about her book.
Yeah.
She's been on our show before, so
Well, let me just say this one thing too, because this one I won't give up the name because
Tanya
Euniesha, one more
always want to
thing.
say just
no,
one
no, I won't
thing.
give up the name
That's
only
later.
because they told me if I ever tell this, they're gonna say I didn't tell you, Tanya. So I'm just gonna. But how do you say that we had this? We came into power when, at the height of the Great White Flight, when the Great White leaders were leaving this county, they looked in the room of all of our great Black leaders, and as they were walking out, said, Prince George's County ain't getting it, with some words and two letters in front. So how do you say we were coming into power? And I'm gonna tell you, when this person told me this, I was like, why didn't you come in? Why haven't y'all ever told us this? Because here we are wondering, why aren't we progressing in this county? And it's like we were chasing our tails.
So I'm funny you bring that up, Tanya. I've been doing some research because the council chair
Mm-hmm.
was talking about Prince George's County. Her people, her residents needed better. They need more options. They need this, that, and the other. And we are affluent and we are educated. And if I hear people say that, they said it at the congressional thing the other day, and I said, stop saying it. And you could just hear people. Affluent counties don't have to. Affluent counties don't have to give diapers. They don't have to do discriminatory using occupancy fees with a random assigned amount to certain
Mm-hmm.
stores, liquor stores, smoke shops, all the things that your people have addictions or whatever with, and that's okay. We are sensitive to that, but they don't have to go there. They choose to go there. So maybe you should refocus your attention on what's driving people to do those things, to use those facilities. Because guess what? Those businesses wouldn't be over there on Naylor Road and Suitland Parkway if they weren't making money,
Well,
right?
think about that. What was that? What was the one business that testified in one of our brilliant um, council people said, "Yeah, I did hear that we're not dense." No, you are. But anyway, let me stop saying that.
So my thing
He
is
talked.
this.
Well, wait a minute. He said density, not understanding what that meant when he was talking about density. And to get to your point, in District 7, you have a lot of transient citizens because you have people, you have high um, evictions, you have high foreclosures. These people have to have some place to have their stuff.
Yeah.
So they use storage facilities. Sometimes they get because they have to they're forced to
I mean,
downsize.
I use all of them. I use the liquor store. I use the
But wait a
tobacco
minute,
store. I
but
use
let me
the
but let me finish
storage
this.
space. I have my
But wait a minute, let
firearm
me
that
finish
I
this
need to
point. But let me
start back
finish this
practicing as
point.
much shit as I talk. Excuse my
But let me
French.
but let me finish this point. Because I
Not
really want to
French.
hit, because it's always talking about my district being so under privileged and disadvantaged. But are you really looking at what your people need? If your people need storage, then you need to look at why. Or is it because they are transient, because they're facing evictions, they're facing foreclosures, and it's constantly happening. When they do get a place, they may have gone from a 5-bedroom house to a 2-bedroom apartment, and they don't want to get rid of their stuff, so they have
But
to put it in
businesses use them
storage.
too.
Exactly. So, I mean, just
They
to
might
come
be
up.
sleeping in them too.
Exactly. So,
No,
have you really
they
assessed?
don't
No,
count.
no, but you have some people doing that. But
We have
have
people
you
doing it, but it don't
but,
count.
but have you really assessed why? Because these businesses they're not failing. They're not failing.
Right.
The businesses are thriving, so the people in your
Well,
community
I
are
mean,
using them.
you are using logic. Obviously, this has nothing to do with any of who
Oh,
using it. I mean, it's even better. Hey, fine, if everybody keep using it and I get my $5 grand to pay for my pet projects, who
But
cares?
and that's the difference
So, I
between
mean,
dense and
because it's
density.
not going to stop them from doing it. I
but
mean,
the
it's going to
but see, here's
transfer
what
that
I
price to us, the consumer, but and the end result is not going to make any of those businesses lead. There's still going to be 142 licenses allocated to Prince George's County through the state for Class A liquor licenses. So if one of those businesses decides to close, they're going to sell it to someone else, which is permissible. And if you
Right.
don't, and if you make up some arbitrary, law, they're going to sue you.
Well,
so
they've already made up the arbitrary law, so they're going to come sue.
so can I finish? Can I finish my point?
Hmm.
Please.
So before I forget, so when your people need child care subsidies, right? How can they afford to go out to a white tablecloth restaurant, right? Why would they need a jazz bar? Why would they? I don't know what better means, which is what Crystal said. Her residents deserve better. So I decided to start looking at incomes from around the region and what affluence means. And I did post that, and somebody said my post was elitist. Well, then I'm elitist, but I'm also a word person. And I think when you use words, you should know what they mean and how they are applicable, and when you are contradicting what you're saying. The other thing about District 7 is it's heavily rental properties. At one point, 75% of Suitland alone was rental properties, right? Between apartments and single family homes that were being rented. So I
Hmm.
decided to take a look at what's the median income in Suitland. It is not bad. $79,330. Now, I don't know how many people live in that household because I haven't gotten that far, but that's not bad. I looked at Forestville, $76,298. Okay, not bad. Now, when you want to go looking at Calvert County, which doesn't have a whole lot of frou-frou stuff, but they got good shopping, a little bit of shopping down there. Their median salary range is $133,922 to $136,669.
Hmm.
When you go over to Virginia, to Fairfax, where people like to go from Prince George's County, the median salary is $145,164. That's double what
Hmm.
Suitland and Forestville people make. So when you start talking about what it is that you want for your residents can't afford what you may be talking about. But since you don't have a plan other than child care subsidies for your nonprofit friends that want to open up child care businesses and you want to bypass the procurement process. This is what we're talking about here, y'all. Facts don't lie. Data does not lie. This is not emotion. This is not about disliking somebody. I could give a crap about any of these people. I don't break bread with them. We ain't kicking it. It's all good. I'm not angry. I'm not bitter. I'm not jealous. Whatever else y'all want to say about me, I am about the facts. And I am about a Prince George's County getting decent government. Can we just get decent government? Can y'all stop being emotional, aggressive people and playing on these people who really haven't, y'all don't really understand the big picture. So when you start comparing yourself to I didn't even do Montgomery County.
I was
County
going to
was
say that.
$138,870 to $140,837. Now, when you start looking at this, then you can start looking at rentals. How many rental properties do they have versus privately owned, tax paid properties? That's when you really start to see what affluence means. This ain't affluence. $76,000 ain't affluence. Sorry, don't know how to cut it no different. So know what you're talking about when you get up there and you want to say things, and know that we do our homework here at CAG, and you might want to do the same. And don't be asking me who am I and what do I do and when am I going to do something. Like I put my bio in the comments. Search my name, LaVon Reedy Thomas. You will find out a lot about me and what I have done. And I'm not stopping, I'm just doing more. So that's all we need from everybody is to do their part.
Well, like I said, the difference between dense and density. That's what that boils down to. Because
she can afford some red bottom shoes after
well, if I was taking our tax money too, I would get them.
See, I'm not going to accuse her. I just think she took her check. When you say take
I
her
wouldn't
tax
get them no matter what.
she get a paycheck. I'm just going to say they get a paycheck.
You know what?
And they have a ride.
I don't care. You know what? Hey, Discovery can prove a lot of things. A lot of things.
Everybody got a house, 2 houses, all the things.
All of a sudden,
these people and don't even know what they doing.
Y'all know my favorite thing. Goodfellas, you're gonna get us pinched. Then I say don't go out and buy big things. You're gonna get us pinched.
Well, before we close out, I'm going to read this excerpt.
Wait a minute.
One more
question.
thing.
No. Well, someone had a question about Lisa Howe, but yeah. Chief Howe is expected to retire rather, at the end of the school year. But the thing is, she wasn't allowed to be railroaded, and that's what's important to us.
Well, I hope she takes all her evidence with her and turn it over.
We can drop a drive, can't we?
Don't stop letting these people get away with stuff just because y'all retire.
Exactly. Take your evidence with you. Start sending your emails to your house now.
Go ahead, Sherman.
All right. So this book was written in 2002, I believe. So bear with me. It says, where is it? Shit, I didn't let it go. Oh, the county council currently is composed of 9 members. We have 11 now. 9 members elected from 9 separate districts. Prior to the 1982 general election, however, there were 11 county council members elected in 6 districts, 5 elected at large, and 6 elected in separate districts. So it appears like the at large was not a new thing in this county.
It wasn't. I've been saying
that. More. So I saw Tom Denoga's flyer came out today, for that bill. So he is
Why is he so against it all of a sudden?
Well, there's they gave him the fodder, but I mean, I don't think he ever cared for it, and he definitely wants to decrease the power on the council and set it up for
he don't want, Black people to, I'm sorry, I mean, he don't want people to continue to have oversight of what he wants in his district. When the at-large member does what they should do, they can vote against things that the district members want. Unfortunately, that's not how it's been working. And so he wants to go back to where he reigns in power. And you can take that however you want.
Well,
but I believe, no, I'm not ready to say that publicly. I'm going to hold on to
well, I would like for them
Hold your
to,
mule.
look, I would like, you get two, you can serve 2 terms and that's it. Go away. Don't be coming back, no, sitting out 2 years and coming back. Just go away.
Well,
So,
if we get a good person, it might not be a problem.
go away.
Good person, don't.
Well, let us know in the chat what you all think, guys. Should we let them go? Can they come back? How do you envision your council looking? We thank you all so much for watching. Anybody have any one more last words?
Mother's Day.
Oh, yeah.
Happy Mother's Day to everyone.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, everyone.
Beautiful mothers in crime.
Yes. Women are strong. Y'all are strong. People, I know.
No, I'm not. I ain't strong.
No. Girl, bear children.
Yes, you are.
Bear
Don't
All
believe
right,
it.
everybody.
Right.
We all thank you so much for watching, and we will be back the week after next, unless one of these people decides to interview someone and we upload it.
Well, Sherman, this is one thing. I'm sorry. If you are a school board member, please hit us up on our page if you would be interested in coming on and sharing with everybody your vision for being a school board member. So
I haven't even paid attention to the school board. I'm so done with these people. I just.
Well, we need to, y'all, because
we need a shirt for Tanya that says one more thing.
One more thing.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. It was a pleasure. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe.